My archive, where I work with, is basically everything issued, prepared from Sigurimi, which was the political police during the communist regime. It comprised files of the personnel, administrative files, surveillance files, files on the places of sufferance, like prisons, labor camps, and a lot of other functions that the Sigurimi performed during the 44 until 91. On one hand, it's a good thing because people are less worried. There is less fear. It has been a very brutal instrument for people's life, but still there is resistance. People's life have been pretty much manipulated or disorganized. People's reputation have been really smeared. So people are worried that disappropriate information may be public to them. So we try to mitigate and let them know that the institution will really take care of their personal data. There is one part of people who really are involved in crime, so they're, of course, worried that, a lot of information will disfavor them. One of the function of our archive is also vetting of the high public positions, and through this institution we are now actually reporting on different relations that high public officials have been doing with the Sigurimi, and they're not comfortable. Their career might be blocked or at risk. So this is one part which is still in very high position, and they don't really like what we are doing. Another challenge is, of course, securing enough resources, that the archive is settled, is safe, is well protected, and projects for developing it better, to map information, to structure well, to digitize, to publish, to ensure good access by public institution and by researchers and media is done well. And of course we can be able also to publish and make use of the information that we have in cooperation with researchers to publish, to tell the story, to answer questions that public might have for civic education or reappraising the history. It was never not important. Mm-hmm. All these years, people have been trying to tell their story, to bear testimony, to tell the story, but it was never in a systematic way. We surveyed, actually, OSCE surveyed before we started, and really people, I said 70% said that they are looking forward to receive, to apply. They want to know what is there. To give a figure, in the first year compared, and we are now in the second year, if we compare with the same month of last year, the request for information tripled. So I can see the number of citizens growing, the number of researchers coming growing. So, and if I see also other homologue archives, like in Germany or in Bulgaria or Romania, even after 10, 20, 25 years that Germany case is operating, they are still receiving requests, and the interest is there. So I think 50 years of history, which was all secret and not open to public, now that is being declassified and open and processed well and made available, I think the interest will really last. No, the organization was created after. I think I've been myself very interested into this special law. I was Deputy Minister of Social Welfare, and I was overseeing also the portfolio of all policies on the ex-persecuted. We took care of the retribution compensation scheme. It was an amendment of a special law this was in 2014. And then we took care of a special plan to find the missing. There are like 6,000 people gone missing, and majority of them is never found, which is still something that is keeping many families, in the past. And then when I was contacting the interest groups, regarding the compensation scheme or the missing, I found out that, the data was kept from the public, and what's so important in order to make efficient transitional justice processes. It was so important to make files available. So, and then with Germans and some young politicians who really supported, we prepared a law, and we really lobbied with intellectuals, with important human rights defenders in the country who really were supporting it. And then finally we made it. Of course, it was not easy. After the law was passed, it took us a year or so for the parliament to establish the committee, and then I was voted together with 4 other members of the authority, which is a collegiate institution, and then we finally started. So it was not easy, but I think now people feel more, they trust that this is a good thing. A very recent survey by UNDP asked people in a survey about trust in institutions, and the survey showed that the trust of people in our institution is quite high, and they trust not only that we do a good job and we do it well, but they trust that this will also improve the trust in other institutions, because we do vetting, and also it will increase the social cohesion and understanding among different groups. I think one of the things that we've done well is that we really pushed for the law. There have been, if there is a state archive like a secret police, you really need to lobby for a special law, because it will give you a lot of freedom after. I've seen some countries doing it, as a part of a national archive, and it was an option also in our case. But we really pushed, because we learned from the Germans, and they really suggested that we do a special law, so we are operated in a different way. We are not just an archive, like a national archive, which has a kind of very limited mandate. As an archive, we have some common goals of reconciliation, civic education, which is beyond a normal archive. Also, we report once a year in the parliament in terms of organizing our life. We are very kind of independent, and this allows us to be innovative. This allows us to kind of have more leverage in the fundraising, talking to public, organizing campaigns. So this would be one. The other thing is that, I would really suggest, and I really push our colleagues to connect with the outside and really make allies of important agencies which understand the challenges. It's not so easy to understand our everyday challenges. And go as high as possible also in the international players, UN, OSCE. For example, in our case, we've invented the Circle of Friends. And we offered this position to Roland Jan, for example, who is the commissioner of Federal Stasi Files agency. He accepted nicely. Not only they provided us training opportunities, but he also came and he will come again, and he's able to talk to important people in our country, so to provide good alliances at the political level. Another friend of ours is a European Parliament member who is the rapporteur for Albania. He's quite important in Brussels. He talks to our politicians, and in case we have shortage in resources, or we feel threatened by some some agencies who doesn't want to cooperate, or else, we have somebody who knows us a little and he's aware of what we are doing, so he's closer. And also, as I said, good partners who understand the challenges and they can mobilize quickly some support are really, really crucial. And also talking to public. First, when I started, it's a very personal thing, I was like few voices, to speak publicly. And then I thought, perhaps this is a dead project. Perhaps people, after all these years, are not interested. But then it took some time, and then I heard many people echoing the same messages, and then it grew. And then even now we talk to public, we have this communication, even with simple means like social media, like Facebook, like Twitter, going in the field, having field visits, going to places of sufferance in a remote camp, in a non-operating prison.